Welcome back to my channel. I welcome you all back to my channel. My name is Aisha, popularly known as Ata Culture. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to draft bustier. So let's start. To draft our bustier, these are the items we will need. First, we will need our tape rule, our French curve, our ruler, our scissors, our markers, our pattern paper, our measurements, and our pin to pin down the pattern paper. Before I start, I will explain some things about bust curve. So I use this measurement for my curve inches. If your bust fall between 32 to 35, you use 1.5 inch for your bust curve. If the bust fall between 36 to 41, you use 2 inches for the curve. If the bust fall from 42 to 45, you use 2.5 inch for the curve. If the bust fall from 46 to 50, you use 3 inches for the curve. And if the bust is from 51 and above, I advise you use 3 inches and a side dart for the fullness of the bust. So this is my pattern. So I've already drawn the lines. This is the starting point line. This is the chest line. This is the bust line. This is the under bust line, and this is the waist line. So from here, I use 9 inches for my chest line. I use 10.5 for my bust line. I use the under bust is 14.5, so I had half inch to it, so I'm using 15 for the under bust, and the waist length is 17, so I had half inch to it, so I'm using 17.5 for the waist length. So let's start. So from here, the shoulder we are using, our shoulder is 16, so we divide our shoulder by 2. That gives us 8. 16 divided by 2, it gives us 8. So from here, we come to the chest line. We draw 8 also. So this is 8 also. So we make it a straight line. So our bust span is 9. So we come to our bust line. So we divide our bust span divided by 2. 9 divided by 2, it will give us 4.5. We add half inch to both sides. Half inch plus half inch, that's 1. 1 plus 10. 1 plus 9, it gives us 10. So 10 divided by 2, it gives us 5. So we are using 5 for our bust span. We plus 1, you add 1 to the bust span, so that's 5 here. We come here, this is our bust point. That's so we come to our under bust. We minus 1 from that 10, it will give us 9. So 9 divided by 2, we use 4.5. So 9 divided by 2 is give us, so same thing, the measurement, the 4.5 that you use for the under bust, that's what we use for the waist also. So you come to the waistline, you measure 4.5 also. So this is it. So we'll go back to the shoulder. So from here, we come to the shoulder line here. From here, we measure 2 inches inward. So the reason why we are measuring these 2 inches inward is because so that we won't be short of allowance when we are joining the bustier together, so that we won't be short of clothes material. So that's why we had 2 inches to it. So and you come to this line here, you look for the midpoint of the armhole. So the midpoint of the armhole lines. So our armhole is 9. So our midpoint is 4.5. So this is 4.5. So from here we connect these lines together with a straight line. So we connect these lines together with this. We will connect the armhole and the bust point line together with a straight line. You see? So we connect these 3 lines also, the bust, the under bust, and the waist also. We connect the lines together also with a straight line. So we come to our bust point. From here we go up by 1 inch, an inch. From here we measure an inch, we go up by an inch. Do you see the way I bend my tape? You come here by an inch, you go up by an inch. So, and here we come here, this 2 inch that we measure inward, we come here, we use this same midpoint that we use here, this 4.5 midpoint that we use. We come here also, we measure that 4.5. So this is 4.5. So we make it a straight line. This is it. So we now join this from this point, from this 4.5 that we measure here, we join it with this new bust point that we measure upward. This point and this point, you join it together. So this is it. You join it together. So you come to your under bust line. The bust we are using 42 for our bust. So in this bust curve inch that I show you, 42, for our 42 first under 2.5 inch. So I'm using 2.5 inch for my bust curve. So I come here, I measure 42. I measure 2.5. Sorry, I measure 2.5 from here under my bust curve. I measure 2.5 here. I go to my waist also. I measure 2.5. So I make it a straight line. So this 2.5 that I measure, I divided it into 2. So when we divide it into 2, you divide that 2.5, you divide it into 2. So it will give us 1 inch and 3. So we come here, 1 inch and 2. So come here also, you make it a straight line. So this middle line, this new middle line, that you go up by 1 inch, an inch. So you come here, you go up by an inch. This is it. from there you make it a straight line. So you go up by an inch. This is it. So from there, from here, you curve it. So now we are using our French curve to curve it so that it will give us a curve shape. So we are using our French curve. So you join those points together. So from here, I will curve it. So I curve it. So I'm curving it this way. You see? Make it a curve to meet with this point here. So I'm curving it this way. So you make it to curve very well so that our bust is not point. So we curve it so that it will give us a curve shape. So that's all about our cutting of our bustier. So we are going to, that's all about our bust. Now we are going to take our inseam allowance. So from here we come to the shoulder, our shoulder slope. We measure 1 inch downward. So we come to our, I'm using 3 inch for my wide, and I'm using 3 inch also for my depth. So we make it a curve shape. You can use your French curve, or I'm using my own hand. So now I'm using 3 inches and 2 for my depth. So you can use your French curve, or me, I'm using my own hand. So you make this one, come here, you slope, so our shoulder slope. This is it. So from our shoulder slope, so now we take our inseam measurement. So before I take my measurement, every part that is going out, this place is going out, this place is going out. So you take the measurement. So here is ½ inch. Here is ½ inch. So here is 2.5. So we are going to add those inch and inches that are going out. We are going to add it back when taking our measurements. So the measurements we are using, our bust is 42. So we come here, we measure 42 divided by 4. 42 divided by 4, that gives us 10. So 10.5. 42 divided by 4 to give us 10.5. We add our ½ inch to it. So I'm using 2.5 for my inseam allowance. So I'll add my 2.5 inseam allowance to it. So same thing, what you use for your chest line, that's what you are going to use for your bust also. So you come here also, 10.5, ½ inch, and 2.5 inches inseam allowance. So you add it also. So you come to your under bust line. So the under bust that we are using, our under bust is 35. So we divide 35 by 4. So 35 by 4, it will give us, so we divide our 35 by 4. Let me use this is 35. will give us 8.5 and 2. So 8.5 and 2. So we come here. This is it. This is our 35. So our 2.5 inch, our hem seam, 2.5 hem seam allowance. So we also come here. We are using 35 for our. We are using 37 for our waist. Our waist is 37. So we also take the measurements. So 37 divided by 4. We divide it by 4. It will give us 9 and 2. 9 inches and 2. So come here. We add our 2.5 that we are cutting out, and we add our 2 inches hem seam allowance to it. So now we cut it out. So note, if you are cutting, I will advise you cut from the bottom so that you won't cut it wrongly. So let me make this a straight line. So the side. So from here you can just make use of your curve to give it a armhole curve shape. From this point here to this point. So that's our armhole curve. So now I'll be showing you all these parts. So let me cut out our neck. this part. So this is it. So I'm using it to hold it so that you'll be able to see it very well. So so you can see this is it about the bustier curve. So this place is out. This is it. All these places are out. So you can see it. So all these places, they are out. So the reason why we measure 2 inches inward at our shoulder line, you can see the reason, so that we won't be short of material when we are joining the two sides together. So that's the reason why we have to go in by 2 inches, so that we won't be short of material when we are joining it. So that's all about the bustier. If you find this video helpful, you can kindly give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments or suggestion, you can drop it in the comment section below. Kindly subscribe to my channel and make sure you turn on your notification bell, so whenever I upload a new video, you'll be notified.